Welcome to the Dr. Diane Show, where we explore revolutionary expansion of mind, body, and soul with me, Dr. Diane Hayden. With over 20 years of expertise as a mindset warrior, perspective shifter, and unshakable optimist, I am dedicated to helping you reach your wildest dreams in business, health, performance, and relationships. Learn about the power of thought and how it shapes your life to take risks, change careers, find love, go on adventures, and live passionately with me, Dr. Diane. Get ready for revolutionary ways of thinking, being, and creating an amazing life. The Dr. Diane Show starts now. Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Diane Hayden, and you are listening to the Dr. Diane Show on Transformation Talk Radio. Stay with us for the next hour, where we will explore revolutionary expansion of mind, body, and soul. Join me on the first and third Thursdays on the Dr. Diane Show, where I have experts from around the country teaching you cutting-edge therapies on longevity medicine, natural health, mindset, spirituality, and soul purpose to help you shift your perspective and become a mindset warrior like me. And please like and subscribe to my channel, Dr. Diane Hayden. So I'm excited today to have with me April Goff Brown. After a distinguished career dedicated to creating and managing impactful programs for at-risk youth and securing millions of dollars in funding to support transformative initiatives in both government and nonprofit sectors, April embraced a new path. This led her on a journey to explore diverse disciplines that nurture the mind, body, and spirit. It was the discovery of human design that was truly transformational for her. She achieved level 4 certification in quantum human design and now blends these different modalities into a holistic practice that includes meditation, essential oils, card readings, and human design with intuitive coaching. April's mission is to help you uncover your unique gifts, align with your true essence, and step boldly into the life you're meant to live. Whether you're seeking clarity, direction, or a deeper connection to your inner self, April is here to guide you to finding your inner wisdom that leads you to living your perfect design. And you can learn more about her at her website, www.aprilgoffbrown.com. So welcome, April. How are you today?
Oh, I'm so happy to be here, Diane. Thank you so much. It's going to be an exciting conversation.
It certainly is, because we're going to be talking about everything that's going on out there with planetary alignment and, once in a lifetime things that are going to be happening over the next couple of years. But I want to we did a show a few months ago, and so many people may have seen that, but there might be people who have never heard of human design. So I kind of wanted to just back up a little bit and just have you give like a little refresher of just how did you get introduced to that, and can you explain a little bit about what that is and how you practice it?
Sure. So human design is I guess it's a relatively new discipline. It came into being, I think, around 1987. It is a discipline that blends ancient wisdom and practice into this one system. With the idea here is that and you've heard me say this a lot, is that I believe we were all born perfectly designed, and then life happens.
Right.
And in our lifetime, the experiences that we have and the messages that we receive all impact how we develop and the kind of things that we believe about ourselves, we believe about the world, and all of that. Human design as a discipline helps you understand what your energetic blueprint is. And by understanding your blueprint allows you to develop that awareness and implement strategies that allows you to move towards the perfection that you were born with in this journey called life. And so as an example, there are 5 types, and they all operate a little bit differently. One of the big differences, most people are what we would call a defined sacral type. And so they've got energy that can go from morning to night. They're like an Energizer bunny, should they choose to be. Whereas the ones that are non-sacral defined are those whose energy wanes throughout the day. So I know that you're defined and I'm not in that respect. If we put each together in a room, your energy would far outlast mine on a day-to-day basis. I could keep up with you for a little bit, and then I've got to step back and take a break, back and forth. It's understanding that energy part of me has me then stop saying, well, what's wrong with me? How come I can't keep up with Diane? How come she's able to do all of this and I'm not? And so we beat ourselves up. And so the beauty of human design is the more that you know about yourself, the more you begin to accept these unique aspects of you and how you're put together in the unique configuration of things is really a very powerful. Every person that I've met as I've learned their design, there is such power in who they are and how they are if they could return to it and live in the higher expression of ourselves. And I think that's what human design helps us do, is help us move into the higher expression of who we're meant to be.
I love that. And I think another thing that's really important to point out, that was one of the first things you said to me when you introduced me to this and we were talking about it, is not only is it helping you learn about yourself and why you react in certain situations or how your energy is or isn't or all that, but it also helps you understand the people you're in relationship with. Like, I might not get why, why can't you go all day with me, April, and then let's go to the club? And I might be like, does she not like me? I mean, like, why does she want to be done with me after 2 hours?
and,
When
and
it's
so
not,
you make up
no,
all these
yes,
stories.
exactly, exactly. It's nothing to do with me, of course, but it's
Right.
just understanding, oh, that's her type of, human design. And that's how I get energy from other people. She needs to get energy more from with going within and being quiet and that kind of thing. And so knowing that helps you, I think really just have, better, more intimate relationships with people, and not have all this, like guesswork or misunderstanding or any of that about, why somebody chooses to do something versus not do something.
Right. Absolutely. And it also is a place where when you understand more about yourself, you actually relieve some of the internal stress and pressure that you place on yourself too. And
Exactly.
that's what I'm seeing and hearing from people as well, is that, we may feel pressure to make all these commitments and do all these shoulds and obligations and stuff, and then we burn ourselves out. And when you understand how you're made up, you can choose and you make the choices that allow you to stay in maximum health and maximum wellness, at the same time recognizing and appreciating that the other person needs to be able to do that too. So it really is a very respectful um, system, and in helping you not only honor yourself but honor the other person.
Right. Yep.
And so you can
Yeah.
build. I really like that. Yeah.
I have real world experience with that too, because after you told me that, and I started thinking about like how I am with not only work, in relationship with my family, with my friends. One of my best friends, whose name is Kristen, said like, will from time to time say to me, Di, I can't do something this week because I'm taking a Kristen day. Like, what is a Kristen day? Like, and why do you need like a whole day to do whatever you're gonna do, which might just be sitting on the couch all day? And I would always be like, why doesn't she want to hang out with me? It's the weekend. Come on. But I get it now. Like, she probably has an undefined, I forget if I'm going to say this right or not, but sacral.
She's Well, that she may
Yeah.
have a one in her profile, which is I need time to be alone.
Right.
There are other parts. Everybody's design has this somewhere. Okay. And, just interesting, um, that one of the profiles is a 2 and a 4. And I only share that because the 2 line is I need alone time to regroup and to become stronger. And the 4 line says, but I need people and I need to be around people. So there's this internal battle of how much peopling do I do and how much alone time do I do? So, it's how we're built energy wise, makes all the difference in the world. And when we can understand that, we can explain it so that Diane's feelings don't get hurt when Kristen doesn't want to hang out.
Oh, yeah. But Diane also needs to know that, like, it's not always about her.
Well, that's true, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
Right. Right. Awesome. Good. So I'm glad we kind of like went over that in review a little bit. I think that I think, like I said, one of the biggest takeaways for me was it's really helped me in terms of understanding my relationships with people and how to navigate that and be better, in relationships with all my
And,
family and friends and all that. So,
and it helps people when we can get to talking about some of the conditioning. It really helps to identify where those wounds came from and how to release them,
right, right.
and by releasing them becoming more whole. And I think that's also another benefit of human design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, just briefly, we have a couple minutes before we're going to go to a break, but you were telling me that there's something going on with astrology and human design, and that the outer planets are aligned in what you're saying is a once in a lifetime arrangement.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to bring about a really huge change for the world and our society and all that. That's supposed to begin in 2027. So just give us like just a little brief insight, and then we're going to get into a lot more when we come back from our break.
So I'm not an astrologist, first off, but
Okay.
when you start to hear things from people who are both practitioners in human design and astrology, is that the outer planets all change signs this year. And that's one of these once in a lifetime events. And when we add Saturn and Jupiter to it, we have 5 planets all change signs all around the same time. And the last time that happened was 500 years ago.
Wow.
And when we think about things that happened in some of these eras where we're moving in changes, the human design eras are about 400 years. We're looking at 400 years ago when we were becoming a country, when we were building a new government system, when we were moving from in 400 years from an agrarian place to now this very urbanized, industrialized cities, that how we're living today wasn't even thought about 400 years ago. And when we have this new 400 era coming in 2027, what it's going to shepherd in is a way of living that we can't conceive right now. And we're on the cusp of, with the planets starting to align and the new era coming, we're in a cusp. And what we're seeing is what a cusp brings, which is chaos,
Mm-hmm.
disruption. And we're all feeling it no matter where we fall on any spectrum, politically, religiously, anything like that. It's happening globally. That's not, that we're in a place of just chaos, and people are feeling it now, I think, more than ever.
Oh my God, for sure, for sure. Well, I'm excited to talk more about this for sure. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the Dr. Diane Show. When we come back, we'll be talking more with intuitive coach April Goff Brown. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're back on the Dr. Diane Show with me, Dr. Diane Hayden. And before we continue, I want to make sure everyone knows how to contact me. You can find me at www.drdianehayden.com or either of my 2 publications, www.naturalnutmeg.com and www.essentialnaples.com. And you can learn more about my guest today, April Goff Brown, at her website, which is www.aprilgoffbrown.com. That's spelled APRILGOFFBROWN.com. So right before we went to break, you were giving us a little insight on the ride that we're about to embark on through 2028 and a new era that's coming in 2027. So what is this thing? You mentioned a change in eras for human design coming in 2027.
So 2027 is going to be bringing about, and it's hard to understand the mutation, which is letting us know that we as human beings, we as how we're going to live is going to change over the next 400 years. Now, it's not going to happen overnight that, February 2027, blink our eyes and everything has changed. Right. We are in the midst of the change right now because the planetary alignments shifted in 2025. And this is going to be significant up through about 2028. And one site that I was looking at says we should start to see it even out as we hit into 2030s. So we've been on a ride for the last few years. We're going to be on a ride for the next couple of years, because in order for the shift to happen, we've been very, it's almost been, we've been very complacent that yes, there's this side has this position and this side has that position, but we've allowed those positions and nothing has really changed. We just have rhetoric that's changed. Mm-hmm. In the last couple of years, it's blown up. And so what we're seeing happen here is, and we can just use this country as an example, we're watching our systems and structures begin to disintegrate. That the what is happening, and it's not a political, this is not a political statement at all, but big government as we know it is beginning to crumble. Big education as we know it is beginning to crumble. Finance is beginning. So all of these systems that were created in the era over these last 4 years have gotten big, and they are absolutely wonderful for what they were doing for people. But we also, in the last 100 years or so, began to understand how we are as individuals, that people had rights. If you think back in bygone times, you had a monarch, and people at the very bottom level had no choice in anything. And even at the top, you were, whatever you were born into, you were scripted to, and there was no change. And we can see now that there's been, even our American dream is that we can climb a ladder and become successful, become entrepreneurs. We've seen women gain rights. We've seen all of these things happen in this last era. Now, with the mutation that ends up coming is that instead of a survival mode, so to speak, that the basis instincts in us and the basic animal mode is that fight or flight response when something, when we're endangered. And so we would operate out of instinct more than anything else. That we're moving into one where it's really about emotional clarity. And this emotional clarity is a higher level that allows us to see things differently, to view ourselves, but to view other people differently. And that while we're going to be moving to a much more individualistic society, there's also this appreciation that I want to be recognized and respected for who I am. But that means you also do. And so while we're individualistic, we are also appreciating the individualism of each other. And so, what I'd read that, it's moving toward an era where we can see more peace instead of all this disarray and disruption and warmongering and hatred and all of these things that so many of us are bothered by now, that we're be evolving to a species that can have more of that appreciation, that kinder, gentler nation that was talked about so many years ago, that kind of world is coming. But it's about the evolution. And so it seems kind of far-fetched, even when I read and with this, it's like, oh yeah, right, But the
right
hope,
now it does.
Right. But the hope and the optimism says that we can't give up now in this midst of this chaos. It's going to change whether we want it to or not. And so the question is, how are you going to maneuver through this? Are you going to go kicking and screaming like the 2-year-old throwing a tantrum because it's bedtime? Okay. Or are you going to begin to appreciate that, okay, who am I? What do I want? What are my values? What are my beliefs? And then having a conversation with somebody else and beginning to view us and each other a little bit differently. So the planetary alignments are showing that as well, is that they're changing, but they're also aligning to work really well together. So the planet of death and rebirth is aligned with the planet of unexpected, which is aligned with the planet of spirituality. So when you look at Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus, they're aligned and working together to shepherd in this new era. And
go ahead.
No.
I was going to ask, like, do you think that this is something that is going to affect every single person, and every single person will kind of get on board with what's going to happen, whether it's a struggle for them or it's easier for them, or some people might assimilate faster than others, but overall everyone kind will go through this change? Or is it going to be like, no, I'm not sure how I want to explain this, but I know that a lot of intuitives I've talked to over the last 5 years have said, where it's almost going to be like we're living on two different planets. There's going to be people like in one, you're going to have like this big energetic shift for people who are more
Mhm.
positive vibration, and the people who are not are kind of going to stay. And I'm a very literal person. So I'm like, at first I looked at it like, well, how is it possible that there's actually going to be two Earths? But after we went through the whole COVID thing, I actually saw it more clearer, that it's not literally like there's two planets, but it is, in a way it feels like we are living on two different planets, because there's so many people who are so diametrically opposed in what their beliefs are. It's like they're in a different world.
Right.
So back to my question is, do you think this is going to happen for everybody, or it's still going to be the situation where for certain people it will become this type of planet, let's say, but for other
Mhm.
people, they'll still be living in their kind of like, lower vibration frequency?
Right, right. So I could only hope that we'll all get there one day.
Yep.
Not in my lifetime and probably not in yours. If it is, it's going to take some time for that to happen. But, and I know you've heard this, and I'm sure many of your listeners have heard this as well, that the more we can raise our own individual vibration, that we're raising the vibration of the planet. And so, as I evolve in my personal growth and now have a conversation with you, and as you evolve and you're having this, and so we're connecting with other people, that bit by bit, we're raising it. I'm going to give you an image. This weekend, my husband bought me a beautiful piece of labradorite that I fell in love with. Because when I looked on the shelf, it was like black outline at the bottom, it's almost like a landscape, and behind it was this bright, fiery orange color. Okay,
Hmm.
so the sky was on fire, and as you shift the light, and if you know labradorite, you can see different colors, and
Right.
throughout it there were little spots of rainbows. Okay, so it was a
Wow.
little rainbow here and there. And as we were in this place, and I came and I sat down in contemplation, it hit me that what we want to do is really become, if each of us becomes a rainbow, okay, and the rainbows begin to connect, the fiery orange will start to subside because we're connecting with this brighter light. And so that's the world we're living in right now, with the people who are part of your community, Natural Nutmeg and Essential Maples, who are part of the communities that we all are part of, is that have we're making our shift into becoming that higher vibration, that rainbow, if you will, and more of us will have that happen. And so the spreading of these modalities that we see in your magazines all the time is really not a surprise, because they're going to grow and they're going to grow and they're going to grow, because we're at different times in our life we start looking for something different. And so it may be that we hit that 50th birthday and all of a sudden it's like, oh, is this all there is? Okay, what else do I need to do? It's got to be more than what I'm doing right now. Let me find it. And so we begin the searching for it. So we can hope that more and more people will search, the more and more that we put this out there. But is everybody going to jump on board right now?
Yeah.
No, no.
Right. Right. Well, that's amazing. And I can totally give confirmation to what you're saying about what's happening just with my magazine alone. I mean, I've been doing this for almost 20 years, and I can tell you that just the number of people in terms of readership has exploded in like the last, I would say, I would say after 2020. I mean, it's been growing all along, but I think the big jump was right after 2020. A lot of people's eyes were opened about a lot of things, and they started looking for, other ways to heal themselves, more natural therapies, preventative types of treatments, that kind of thing. So readership for sure. And then also like the number of holistic practitioners that are doing things like what you're doing or different natural therapies. I mean, that has gotten huge in the last 4 or 5 years. So we're going to talk more. We've got to take another quick break. I'm excited
Okay.
to learn more about what you have to say. When we come back, we'll be talking more about human design with April Goff Brown. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're back on the Dr. Diane Show with me, Dr. Diane Hayden, and I'm talking today with April Goff Brown. You can learn more about her at her website, which is www.aprilgoffbrown.com, and that's spelled APRILGOFFBROWN.com. So when we just went to break, you were talking about just, how this is going to be a huge change for all of us and what's happening with planetary alignment and all that. I want to move into, so we kind of have a background of what's going to happen. But the question everybody's going to have is, well, how does this affect me? How do I maneuver through this? And what strategies and tips and tools can we give people to kind of help navigate through the chaos right now and then into this better way of life that we're looking
Right.
towards?
Well, the one thing we can't do is go hide somewhere into a cave and wait for it to end.
Right.
Okay. And I think that there are days that I really want to do that. Okay. Um, but we also can't get sucked into it that we're so angry and frustrated and overwhelmed by everything that's going on. So, how do we find some kind of a balance here? Okay, with this. And the best thing that we can do is really focus. We really can. The best thing we do is focus on ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and how do we how do we breathe through all of this? So there was a time, for instance, I had the news on and watched it every day, and I
Don't
basically
do
turned it
that.
off. Yeah, it's because you got sucked in. It was, and you get so angry about it, and then it disturbs the peace and the wellness that you want to have. And if we're especially as the adults are feeling all stressed, we're projecting that onto kids. And
Mm-hmm.
the kids are feeling all of this and they don't even know how to handle it, because they don't understand all the stuff that is going on. So the best thing we can do is start to really take care of ourselves, and which is why the magazines do such a service for people, because it not only has the articles, but you've got all these options, as you were saying, of the holistic practitioners that are out there. And science is beginning to, and I don't have a mind that works that can take everything in and keep it all in neat places and know all the right terms for it. So it may not come out really, really well. But quantum science is showing that there's really evidence for some of these holistic woo-woo practices that are out there, that they really do have physical ramifications, that it
Yeah.
can heal.
Energy
um,
medicine, frequency medicine, red light therapy. You're absolutely
right,
right. Yep.
all of those things. And so with the traditional medical science, and we look at the breakdown of the medical system, for example, is it's been traditional medicine, and then it's the surgery, and it's the pharmaceuticals, and this is that Western approach. And we're beginning to shift back to wanting more of what has always been thought of as the Eastern approach of things, the more holistic medicines. What are the plant-based medicines? What are the ways that we can heal ourselves naturally without having to pop in pills or resorting to other kinds of things? How do we manage stress in a way that, when, I think 40, 50 years ago, if you were feeling stressed, oh, here's a pill, you can take it and it's going to calm you down, right? And then, of course, you got too calm and you had
Valium.
the amphetamine, you right, so that cycle. But there are natural ways that we can do it, and we're beginning to show that these modalities do work.
Yeah, I can
And
tell you
but
actually
it's
to a couple things that have happened in my experience with the magazine and with my practitioners are that it used to be 100% of my practitioners would tell me that people would go to Western medicine first, they'd exhaust all the possibilities through Western medicine, and then they would go to the naturopath or the chiropractor or the spiritual coach or whatever, the holistic psychotherapist. Now that's changing. Now a lot of my practitioners are telling me that people are coming to them first before going to a Western trained medical doctor to try to avoid
right,
surgery or try to fix whatever the chronic issue is without medication or any of that. And I'm telling you, I have girlfriends that I didn't think would ever talk to me about supplements. Like they were just didn't care, didn't want to hear about it, didn't believe in it, whatever. I mean, they loved me, I loved them, but not interested in what I did. And I swear to
right,
you, they're all coming to me now like, do you have a naturopath? Who do you recommend? What supplement should I take for this? I'm like, what is happening right now? These people I never thought
right,
would change. Yeah, it's wild.
right, right. And you see with the supplements and the plant based, is I just took a class recently around aromatherapy and medicinal aromatherapy, and when you look at what these oils can be done, it's not like you pop a pill and the pain goes away immediately or in 20 minutes, which is why people like the Western stuff at times.
Mm-hmm.
But over time, that you can actually eliminate the pain through the use of nature's medicine, okay, which was known for centuries before the Western medical
Sure.
field came into existence and grew to where it is. And I agree with you. People are saying, well, I'm going to try everything I can to not have surgery. Okay. And because doctors are trained to look at, so I've got something going on with my wrist. And of course, everybody says, oh, it's carpal tunnel. You go to the doctor, first thing they want to do is they want a surgery and,
Oh yeah.
bandage it and everything else. Well, it's from overuse, yes, but there may be other things that I can do instead. And so that's the route that I'm working to see if I can lessen it. I know where the strain has come from, and it may never go away, but I don't have to live with pain on a constant basis.
Right.
And that's it. Um, we want to be able to, and people who would have poo-pooed this years ago. And you're right when we talk about the pandemic, because the pandemic forced a pause,
Mm-hmm.
it forced a change. And when people got out of the hamster wheel, okay, that we were all on, it was like, oh, this is what there is to life. Well, I want this. How can I change this? What do I have to do? I don't want to go back into that office. I don't even want that job anymore. And
Right.
people are leaving high pressure jobs for something less because they want the quality of life to be better. Well, if everybody's quality of life would improve, then we would see that shift, that everybody is now moving towards that higher place, that higher being, that higher existence in the self, because they're seeing that improvement. But it's really hard to when you're stuck.
Right.
And one of the things that, and I like with human design is that we can find some of those places where we're stuck and we work through them so that you can slow yourself down enough where you appreciate and respect that you need to have a pause in your life, no matter what type you are. That saying yes to everything no longer works,
Mm-hmm.
that
Even
you
me.
have to learn how to say no. You're going to be two again and say no, you
Yeah.
know, um, because when you are saying no to what's out there, you're beginning to say yes to yourself. And when you're beginning to say yes to yourself, you're beginning to respect yourself and honor yourself. And with that comes loving yourself, because I think so many of us go to what's wrong with me? How come I can't? How come I don't? And all of this. And so we're beating ourselves up as opposed to embracing the uniqueness of who we are. And so, even like, my husband would never have been in any of this in the past either, but he's beginning to appreciate and understand that instead of going to doctor for this lower back pain and stuff, that I showed him 4 stretches he could do first thing when he woke up, and the pain is dissipating.
Wow. Awesome.
And it's like, oh, and they were yoga moves. Okay. So he would never practice yoga, but those were yoga moves. Okay. That now he's seeing how that stretching in just a way makes a difference. The breathing techniques when we're feeling stressed and coming out of something that's overwhelmed us, how do you take a few minutes for yourself without deep breathing, for example? Is a way to calm the nerve centers down so that you can regroup and um, and be at your best self. One in my design, the primary gate for me is, yes, I nurture others, but I appreciate and understand why it's important to nurture the self first. And while everybody says, "Oh yeah, I understand this," you can't be good for anybody else if you're not good for yourself.
Right.
And cognitively, you know that, but how many of us do it? How
It's
many
tough.
of us do it? And it's when we do it that we begin to raise our vibration so that we can help others do theirs as well. So those are some things. And so finding emotional clarity, understanding what you believe in, why is that triggering you? When something triggers you, it's not that they're wrong and they're bad. What's triggering it for you? Trying to understand where it came from in your life so that you can heal it and resolve it. So, coming to emotional clarity is something that's really important for us to do. Honoring your own individuality, your path, but also at the same time respecting and honoring people along their path, even if you don't agree with it. Staying open to a new way of doing things, a new way of being. As you talked about the shifting with what your practitioners are saying, we're seeing a shift in paradigm about how we're going to live, how we want to take care of ourselves. And I think one really important is that community. We're not just individuals. We're wired to be part of community. So we've got to find our resonant communities. We've got to find a place where we feel like we belong, and it might mean leaving somebody behind, but everybody isn't meant to be in our lives forever. It's
right.
As we evolve, we change, they evolve another way or they don't evolve. Find your people, find where you want to play, find where you can feel accepted so that you can be your best self.
I love that. I love that. We're going to go to another quick break. You're listening to the Dr. Diane Show with me and April Goff Brown. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're back on the Dr. Diane Show with me, Dr. Diane Hayden. You can learn more about me at my website, www.drdianehayden.com. And I'm talking today with April Goff Brown, and you can learn more about her at www.aprilgoffbrown.com. That's spelled APRILGOFFBROWN.com. So, one of the things you said to me when we're just, talking about, doing the show is that human design is the blueprint for humanity at its best. So just tell us a little bit about why you think that.
So, and I'm glad you asked, because we think of human design as just the individual, but when we look at the makeup of the blueprint, the body graph, one thing is we all have all of the chart. It is our configuration of definition that makes us unique, and we are designed to, one, be individuals, two, to be part of a tribe, a family, a community, if you will, that it's not enough just to survive as ourselves, but we're wired to live and be among others. And then at the third level, we are also wired to be concerned at the global collective level. So when we look at, for instance, around gates of love, we are wired for self love. It's one of a key gate number 10 is all about loving oneself and learning how to do that, to appreciate all parts of us. We have another gate, a love gate, which is 15, which is a gate of compassion. So it's about having compassion for fellow human beings, people that are outside of ourselves. And then the big gate for me is gate 37, which is a gate of harmony and peace. And when I think of that, and I wonder how many listeners will start humming the song, I think of the song that John Lennon wrote, Imagine. Imagine all the people in the world living life in peace.
Right.
Is that real highest level. And it's so true that that's what we're here to be. And that's the hope that I think this era change will bring about, that we are living in harmony in different ways. We may not be living in these great big cities and in density, but that we're starting to allow ourselves and each other to live in places where we fit in and be comfortable with that and not fear that that difference, because there's still a lot of fear about differences right now. But I think the idea is that we will live in a way where we don't have to fear differences any longer.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
So.
I love it. So, like we talked a little bit about helping people, maneuver through the next couple of years and things like that.
Mhm.
How can someone learn what the energies are like each week or each month? I know for sure I feel, like some weeks I feel like really inspired about what I'm doing. Some weeks I might feel, I don't know, like not disenchanted, but just, a little flatter about it. And I know it has to do with things that are happening planetary and my human design and all that. But how do we kind of learn maybe how to be more in tune with that, and maybe for me also it would be if I knew that was going to be a week maybe where I needed to just have more downtime or whatever.
Mhm.
It would help me, I
Right.
think, manage my emotions around what's happening, that kind of thing.
So in human design, we have what we call 64 gates, which is the connection to the I Ching and the 64 hexagrams. And the sun moves through those every 6 days. So where we might be, whatever gate we are in today, as we're recording this, the sun is in gate 6. And I only say that because it's a challenging gate. It's a gate of conflict. And the earth is in 36, was a gate of challenging growth. So this is a week, okay, these 6 days of a transit where you might experience more conflict, or you're feeling conflicted about what it is you do, or that you're feeling challenged by trying to grow your business, or why I'm not growing personally. Excuse me. But on the 21st of September, the sun's now moved into gate 46, and it wants you to experience and appreciate that all that crap that you had to go through was valuable. Okay,
Right.
because it was something you could learn from it. And the earth now in 25 is saying, it's a very spiritual gate, that this is about universal love. It's about the lessons. What did you learn? And know that other people were learning the same thing. So there are ways to find out about the transits. I do monthly now. I do a report that looks at the big shifts and also what these transits are, so that the September big picture lessons were reminder that we're in a chaotic world. Just in case we didn't remember, the September was a reminder. The energy was a reminder. We're in a chaotic world, and the shakeup, we're shaking up the comfort. but also telling us that it's necessary to contemplate and reflect and examine your own personal growth, your evolution, and to learn how to live in the present. You can't get stuck in the past or wish it could come back, because it's not going to. If you do that, you're stuck. If you always worry about what's going to happen, you're stuck in fear. So the lesson in this month is, how do you start to live in the present? How do you become grounded in your physical self so that you can withstand the shocks that are going to come to your system, whether the big ones affect you or not, or there's littler ones that happen within your personal life. So I try to do these now monthly. I drop them at the first of the month. They're on my website. And those that are on my email will get it as an email blast. And they're not only written, but I've begun recording them as well. So that is one way people could get a sense of, this is kind of the energy of the month for it. And then there are astrologers that are also doing the same kind of thing. There are people that combine human design and astrology, and I listen to one faithfully every week because he puts out something every single week. But the idea that if you have a knowledge that it's going to be kind of an upheaval of a month, at least you begin to expect it. And how do you manage through it? Because it's about helping yourself how to live through the struggle and to accept that why and that there's a reason for it, because everything that comes to us is to help us grow and evolve and be the best that we can be, even when we don't like it.
Right.
I hope that helped.
That's when you grow. There, yeah. When you don't like it is when you have the most opportunity for growth. That's for sure. So if someone wants to work with you, the best way to get in touch with you?
To go through the website. They can reach out to me. There is a place where they can reach out and we can schedule a 20-minute call to find out what kind of needs they might have, how I can be helpful. If I'm not the right person, maybe I know somebody that is, or another modality that would be better for them at that time. So it's probably the best way. That's where you'll get the most consistent information. Yeah. And to sign up for my email list, because emails go out 2 to 3 times a month. I try not to bombard people with it, because I know I hate to be bombarded with it, but to make sure that this is another way they can know what's going on, what's happening, and what are offerings that I may have that could be helpful for them.
Yeah. Well, I would encourage everybody to reach out to you. I can tell you that I think human design is amazing. It's an amazing modality. It's one of the most complete ones that I've ever seen, as far as like integrating all the different aspects of someone's personality and just how they are in relationship and all that. And like I said to you, it really helped me understand just, my relationships better with everybody, with my family, with my partner, with my friends. And I love that it made me more open to understanding, why they are the way they are, and also, not feeling any kind of, negativity or anything like that, guilt or whatever, when I felt like I didn't understand why they chose to do something or not do something, or whatever that is. It's really helpful, I think, to understand how people are different, how they get their energy, how they might need to have more space, everything that you were saying, kind of the difference between you and me, basically. I mean, to know that in your personal relationships is really valuable, I think. So that's been great.
It is.
Yeah.
I agree.
Awesome.
I agree. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, people.
And so I'm glad it's been helpful for you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I agree with you. It is probably the best thing that I've ever discovered.
Yep.
And it really can help a person learn that you are here. You're a once in a lifetime cosmic event. You're here because you're supposed to be here, and you are here in the right way.
Right.
That the makeup that you have is powerful if you just take the opportunity to learn it and live it, that you are truly a remarkable, remarkable person.
I love it. I love that. Well, thank you so much, April. It's been a pleasure. Again, people can learn more about you at your website, aprilgoffbrown.com. And I want to thank all of you for tuning into the show. Please join me the first and third Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. And I hope to see you again next time. Thanks again, April. Thank you for tuning into the Dr. Diane Show, revolutionary expansion of mind, body, and soul with me, Dr. Diane Hayden. Tune in every Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on transformationtalkradio.com. Center your thoughts on what you want and shut the door on every suggestion of fear, worry, or lack from your own consciousness or the consciousness around you. Once you master that, everything is possible. To learn more about me, Dr. Diane, and receive a free digital subscription of my magazine, visit naturalnutmeg.com.